Sevan's in the building.
Yeah.
Sevan, sorry.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back. Yeah? We had him on before. I've interviewed you, once.
Yeah, once that was the one-on-one.
Yeah, that was cool. So, yeah, man, thank you for coming back in.
Absolutely, man.
Nice
Thank y'all for having me. I
Bro,
appreciate it.
when are you releasing music?
It's coming.
No.
It's coming.
Have you got a date, bro? Because you're just you come up, you drop something, you promote for about 3-4 months, maybe 6, and then you disappear, and then no one sees you for 2 years. So, firstly, where have you been, and when are we getting music, bro?
So, I was basically like, I don't want to go into a whole long story about it, but it was like kind of more of a personal health thing for a while, and then it kind of migrated from that to just like being out of practice for so long, just like just that the personal health issue just got in the way of things, and then like, you know, you're out of practice, and then you're kind of like, oh man, like I'm gonna be so rusty when I get back to this, and then but then when you do get back to it, the love come back right away. So I started like getting back like to regular recording, I'd say like probably before summer last year. And yeah, man, just been kind of rediscovering kind of, you know, like where I needed improvement. And, you know, when I do those disappearances, it's mainly just to work on my craft, like most of the time. Like other than this time was a health issue, but most of the time when I do those disappearances, it's because I hear things. I mean, I'm sure you do it, Prophet, and you too. When you like drop music, then you listen to it and you're like, oh, bro, I could have did this way better.
Yeah.
So I do that to like an unhealthy amount where it's like I disappear because I just want to work on all these things.
Perfect everything.
Yeah. And then what ends up happening is you drop nothing.
You become a bedroom rapper.
You become your own harshest critic, you know? And then at the end of the day, it's like, nobody is going to hear those, you know, little errors that your ears picking up on, whether it's like different inflections in your voice or a word you might have slurred. Like, people are just going to appreciate the music. But like I find we're too critical on ourselves. At least, it's crazy to me, but to me, it seems like the most talented, the most skilled artists are the ones that are the most critical and hold back music, while the ones that, you know, may not be as, you know, top tier are the ones that are just throwing shit out left, right, and center.
Bro, I saw something on Instagram today, and it said, the song that you don't like is someone's best song in their playlist.
Facts.
And I was like, I didn't think about it like that, if that makes sense. But you're gonna be harsh on yourself, like, oh, I should have. Someone's bumping that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So you have to pull it out. But I feel like this summer's gonna be a good summer.
Oh, no question, dog.
A lot.
Y'all coming?
Question.
Bro, a lot.
Pause.
Yeah. You caught it good. Yeah, I like that.
I'm quick.
But yeah, no, a lot of people's putting out music. Quan's gonna put out his.
Yep.
Jabba's putting out his. Jersey's putting out his. Prophet's putting out his.
We got Manny.
Manny's putting out his.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I'm putting out mine.
Yep.
There's a lot of music dropping. There's gonna be a lot of.
It's healthy.
We have to flood the market though, because we have to show people we're here, if that makes sense. There's a scene, because this whole dropping one music video every 3 months or every 4 months, it's not cutting it, bro.
It's not, man. And then there's no momentum being maintained. You know?
That's the thing, bro. Like,
for sure.
When was the last time there was a big sort of surge of momentum in terms of hip hop here?
17 maybe? 2017? Like around then?
It was
No.
2018,
Let's not talk about 2018, yeah, because we know what the golden era is. I'm just saying, for the newer artists, let's say the last 3 years.
Maybe 2022, 2023.
Yeah, when we just got back outside, I think that's when, because like a lot of people were just kind of harboring away.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of people also kind of like discovered they had a talent too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because they just had so much time on their hand.
Right.
Yeah, like 22 as like right when we were just coming out of it. And, you know.
I think 2023 was Riz's year.
It was. Yeah, he was pretty much the only one that really made an impact.
Putting out
Riz is a killer, man.
Yeah, visuals, he was at radio. He was doing a lot of things. So 2023 was his year. 2024 was Lotus's year.
Who's Lotus?
Lotus Chrome.
People was
She's
her
she's a
name
young
was
artist
her
in the
name was
city.
Is she
ringing
from
in the
here?
city.
Yeah, I think she's from Calgary, as far as I know. But yeah,
Send me your
she's
shit.
talented. She's a young artist. She's very talented. So
But
I wanna
then
check
this is
her
the
out.
thing. But there's all these other artists that we know of that's got music, bro. They're just sitting on music, and it's like that's why me and Prophet's trying to push as much of these artists that have talent just out there now. So the visuals are gonna be there, the song, everything. It's not just gonna be the basic shit. But I just hope we can keep that momentum in the city.
yeah,
You know?
man.
It can happen.
We got some other flash shit in the works. WHgains is coming. Y'all better watch for that.
Yeah, but who works out?
Bro, we
In the
all
scene.
work out. I ain't gonna hold you. We all work out. All the top tier rappers I find like keep themselves sharp mentally and like
Physically.
physically as well. You feel me?
I've been just
I
learning
agree.
that.
I agree.
Mhm.
Totally. But what else is there that's happening in the city? Because last time you came, we had a few topics, and it kind of went a bit different.
I can't remember a lot of them.
We had to pivot.
We had
you
to
know?
pivot just a little bit, but we had a few music topics. We had personal topics. One thing I would say is, all right, let me ask you this because we go for it. Everyone goes for it. At one point, your name was ringing in the city.
hmm
Why was you getting so much hate?
Hate? Shit. Well, I mean, like, there's like a multitude of different reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Because
sure.
I thought you was one of the top ones, if I'm honest.
Thank you.
You was the guy putting out music, everything looked professional. The videos were,
Yeah, good.
you know,
performance
everything
sets, too.
was right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
fact.
that.
So then when people were like, "Oh, he's arrogant," I'm like, "He's supposed to be."
I was
You
never.
understand what I mean?
I was never arrogant. I was always good to people, in my eyes, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, you can't control how people feel when they
Perceive.
when you interact with somebody. Like, to you, you're just being normal, regular, but to them, it's something else. You know what I mean? And also, like, sometimes they'll put a perception on you that they want to be. So like, even if you're cool to them, they still like they have a preconception, like they want you to be arrogant, they want you to be an asshole. So like, in their mind, no matter what you do, they've already decided. So like, I don't know, I just stopped trying to please people that aren't like, they ain't gonna fuck with me no matter what, right? Like, and not just that, but Prophet and I were just talking about this with, you know, before cameras came on, but like, I don't do music for like external validation, and like, I'm not an artist that's like, I think the only reason people would say that is just because I don't do a lot of features. Anytime someone asks me if like jump on a song, I'm busy. You know what I mean? And like, but that's because I am, and it's because that's just how I work. I shut myself in, and then when it's time to come out, it's time to come out. But you know, like, maybe they perceive that as arrogant. I don't know what. But other than that, I'm always showing love. I'm always like telling people like if they need advice, I'm giving them advice. Like, I'm always there for them. You know, when I like go to a show, and if like there's other people on the set with me and I see them do a good show, I go up to them and I tell them it was an amazing show. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always showing love. I think, just people, they have like a preconceived idea about you, and then they force it on you no matter what. And then of course there's also like a bit of, I'm not trying to like puff my own ego or like powder my own balls or anything, but like,
That's a bit weird to say, bro.
it is weird. Yeah, that's a new thing I've been saying. It's like,
He's trying to bring it.
when someone tries to like, when someone's like kissing up, or like if you're like self-gratifying, I just say you're like powdering your own balls.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hear you.
I don't know.
If it works, it works.
It works. You know what I mean? But it makes sense. But it makes sense in my head, at least. No, it's also like a jealousy thing, right? It's like they see someone doing well, and like if they feel like they're not there, they're gonna be like, "Oh, why is he there and I'm not there? He's this, that, and the third." Like they put all these things on you because they don't want you to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's like,
even I still don't understand that concept, you know.
How so? What do you mean?
Just because from my reality, okay, if someone's doing something better than me, I'm not gonna try and sabotage them.
big time.
I'm gonna try and do what I need to do
To level up.
to level up. Do you understand what I mean? A very good example, and I can say this, bro. when I see Bomi's work, it scares me.
Really?
100%, bro. Because when there's certain videos he's done that I'm like, this is amazing, bro. Like he done, I forgot what country it was for, but he done one where it was like a shaky cam at the start. And I'm watching it and I'm like, oh crap, he knows too much. He knows too much. I need to learn.
Right.
You understand what I mean? I'm not gonna be like, fuck him, man. Watch. And I'm gonna go and talk to everyone and say, oh, don't work. No, it's the learning about it and all of that sort of stuff. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, you should want to learn.
Yeah, bro. This whole jealousy stuff. Is that just a small town thing or
100%.
Yeah, it's got to be, because I always say Calgary is the biggest small town out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small town masquerading as like a major city. To be honest with you,
it isn't.
And this is the issue too. Like because of that, and because we got the corporate money involved, people just try to throw money at different endeavors to try to facilitate the arts to become bigger. The arts and various, creative endeavors, music, painting, this, that, and the third. But it's like, you can't just throw money at shit. Like art has to sort of manifest itself a bit more organically than that.
Yeah.
And then you see what rises to the top, so to speak. And then that's what should get the corporate dollars behind it. But people just try to throw money every other direction. And that's why, oftentimes you get some less than stellar creations, in my opinion.
I like that. That's a good answer.
It's very medium. It's very, no, let's just keep it real. There's a lot of medium music out. Do you understand what I mean? Because there's no quality control. And I always say this, bring back music managers. Bring back A&Rs.
And all that.
A&Rs.
Yeah, I can see it.
Bring those back, because you know what it is? Again, you hear the stories of people making songs and they're bringing it, nope, go and do this or try this and artists will get angry and they will release their song and they can see certain, you understand what I mean? You can see what works and what doesn't work, but this is the job of what they're supposed to do, if that makes sense. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, again, I keep on saying it. Russ fucked up the world, bro, for all of these new artists, because the moment he started, I can do everything. I don't need to do nothing. I don't need to listen to no one. I can put music out by myself, and that's that.
But I mean, this is the thing. I think that, again, there's always going to be a certain standard that sets itself apart. And I think that's what we need to push toward this summer. Like all the artists that are actually serious about this shit and have spent years like honing the pen, crafting the right production, or connecting with the right producers, all these different creative elements. I think it's upon us to actually lock in and do something that stands out and stands apart and maneuver as a unified front too.
For sure.
That's why, in all honesty, anytime I see somebody out of the show that I think is a quality artist and they perform well, their songs are catchy, the songs are memorable, they also have, a slick pen, I give them credit. I said, dog, it was a tough set.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna to hate and be like, yo, man, fuck this guy. He got more of a crowd response than me, first of all, because that never happens. No, I'm fucking with y'all. But at the same time, it's like, dog, if we as like the top, so-called top tier artists in the city maneuver unified, it's like, all right, boom, these are individuals who are all clearly on the same page. It's only going to allow the progress to come faster, number one. And number two, it's going to force everybody else to step the game up, you know?
Bro, I agree, bro. And this is why we've said there's artists, specific artists that the next few months we're going to pay attention to. K-Quan, we're going to pay attention to. Manny Lude, we're going to pay attention to.
I've heard good things about Manny.
Yeah, Jabba Hill, we're going to pay attention to.
And Jabba.
Like, we need to do all of that. Like, Manny in the WH Cypher, he took that.
Yeah, no question.
He took that. Shouts to Sando, because he stood up. He stood up.
I'm proud of that kid, man.
He stood up.
I'm so proud of that kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you know what? He got the city talking. He done what he needed to do. He got his way in the scene. Not to say he wasn't, you feel me? But he got that.
like a little foot in the door.
Yeah. He got the little skip to pass certain things. And he stood up with some seasoned artists as well. So, I have to give him a little shout out as well. But we need to ensure that if they're putting in the work, and we're promoting them, one of the other key things, please people, learn the lyrics before a show. If you mess with a song,
Yeah.
learn the lyrics. It's embarrassing a lot of the time where artists is on stage. All right, guys, I'm gonna say this, and then you say this. All right, put the song on. And the crowd's not saying it.
Yeah.
As you feel me, learn the music. If you fuck with a song, when you put music out, you know which song the crowd will fuck with the most, or you know what they're feeling. Cool, you feel me? And because we live in that TikTok age and all of that, you can implant it in people's heads.
Yeah, that's fair.
One person that does it all the time, 86 Love.
Okay.
I see his reels, his TikToks all the time to the point that I know the first verse for one of his songs. You understand what I mean? I hear it all the time. That I'm like, cool. I see what he's doing. He's got the right idea, and that's how he markets himself. But just learn, bro. I hate that. I hate that people don't.
Well, again, we need to give people a reason to pay attention, which is why I feel it's upon us to organize events and shows vastly differently than they've been maneuvered so far. Because in all honesty, dog, like, nobody wants to come to a show and have it be like a high school talent show, you know, and be like,
yeah, I was about to say
next we're coming to the stage. Like,
All right,
it's
so
like you bring somebody out.
Speaking on that, because someone did send it in. What was your review of the Urban Souls X show?
I think it was good for a first effort, but again, there's a lot of things that need to be sharpened up, you know, and it's no discredit to them because they're doing their thing. But I will say this, dog, it's like, one, there should never be dead air during an event. It's like as soon as an artist finishes their song, boom, transition right into the DJ set.
Yep.
Make sure there's music playing throughout
Keep
the
people
entire
moving.
night. Like if you have dead air while you're trying to sort things out and say, can we get such and such? You don't say that. You say you find the artist. You say, boom, all right, come back here. Let's get your shit organized while the music is playing, keeping people like entertained. You know, like everything needs to be executed very seamlessly. You know, we can't have, truthfully, like we've been in this shit too long to be executing on such a like an elementary amateur level. Like,
But it was their first
feel
show,
you.
so we have to give them grace, no?
I get it, but you're dealing with seasoned artists holding it, who are there performing. Even though you are holding your first show, you're dealing with seasoned artists who have been doing this for quite a long time.
And you have to operate as if every show is with seasoned artists, even if it's like if it's a bunch of amateurs that like just started their first, but you should still always treat it.
Yeah, because it's
you
like
know?
you like how are you trying to lead these new artists? Like, what direction are you trying to lead them to? You know, are you trying to lead them to amateurism, or are you trying to lead them to a level of professionalism?
You got to wrangle them for sure. Like I always notice that like the most effective way of like making sure that you don't have to like call out on the microphone like where is this person is you got to wrangle them before the sets even starts. Like, hey, y'all, I need to be able to, like, if I was the organizer, and like I said, I didn't go to this show that you guys are talking about, so I don't got a good comment for that. So like I can't really say much, but just from what you guys are saying, like from what I've seen, is you get them in a certain area and you tell them specifically, either be here or you don't go on stage. Like be in the area where we can see you, because I'm not trying to, like, if I was the promoter, I'd be like, I'm not trying to chase you around all night or go to your friends and ask where you are.
Facts.
Like, I'm not trying to do that. You have a time slot, and whether it's like 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, regardless, depending on how the show moved, but you be there in this specific area. So like, it doesn't have to be like a little corner. It's just like, here's the side of the stage. There's like a decent enough, kind of like a pen. You know, it's just like, just be there.
Or it's like, you could even have a little section for the artist. You know, a little section for the artist, have your shisha set up, you know, little drinks,
Did they not
water,
have the
whatever
side
the
part?
case
Oh,
is.
that was just empty, the side.
It was just empty. But this is the thing, it's like things need to be operating at a very high level with regard to putting on events, because the key is ensuring that it's entertaining for the viewing audience. And a lot of times it's not entertaining for the viewing audience. They're just there to support a bunch of amateur looking people.
Or their friends.
Exactly. You know, just out of you know, the benevolence of their own hearts. You feel me?
So what would be the biggest advice going forward for their second show.
Well, I will say this. Everybody needs to be aware of the set list. Everybody needs to be aware of the time slots. Obviously, some people may go over, under, whatever the case is, but you need to know, boom, after you, after him, here, after, like, everything needs to be real precise, and everybody needs to know, like, the order of things. And, maybe some people will get offended and be like, oh, I don't want to go first. They think it's like, disrespecting them and things of that nature. But I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like, there have been performances where I think I've been the strongest artist and they put me first on the set, but I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I can to ensure that that set is the most memorable, and it starts off the event, on a high, so that people are like, all right, well, if this is what we're starting with, the fuck is coming next? So again, that goes back to the artist. Artists need to not necessarily have such ego, like,
big time.
You need to understand, okay, yeah, you may be in a room with people who, are on different calibers or who have different levels of, audience and things of that nature, but you're there to make a name for yourself in front of a room of a lot of people who have probably never heard you before. So put the ego to the side, get up there and represent yourself well.
Do you know I've realized what the ego is now? Like, after doing all of these pods and speaking with artists this year, what I've realized is you have different categories of artists that believe because of what they've done, they're higher than others.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I was speaking to someone that said to me, oh, I've sold all of these tickets. Anytime there's a show, I always get a show, this, but they haven't got any projects out. So, but to them, because they've done all of these shows, they're more successful than a lot of the rappers in this city.
Right.
Then you have the other artists that said to me, oh, back in the day, we've done this, we've done that. No, but it's real. They're saying, they're giving me what they've done.
Living in the past.
But I've said, what have you done now? Because we live in a very much, what have you done for me lately? Sort of, vibe. Cool.
You're only as good as the last time you went up to bat.
You know what I mean? And then you have the others that are like, oh, I'm super good. I know I'm super good. How do you... So because you have all of these different egos and different ways of judging what they think it is, there's no structure, bro. This is why when we're talking top tier and top 5 and all of this sort of stuff, we don't actually know. We can't confirm no top 5 because it's a mess, bro.
Yeah.
I feel
You understand what I mean? Because in reality, if you want to say, okay, who's got the most streams in the city, that person's top 1. Who's the most lyrical, or who can actually rap,
or who can perform the best?
Who can? These are the things that we have to look at, bro. Like, when we even look at, we were talking about punchlines and stuff earlier. People, for me, again, this very good example. I sent Sevan Wretch 3-2.
Oh, dude, fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Wretch is
nice.
nuts.
You understand what I mean? He didn't. Those are the people that I came up on that were rapping like that from way back. You understand what I mean? Like, the little pockets they get in and the slick stuff they say and all of this sort of stuff. So when I hear punchlines like, I'm hot like the sun, it's like, I'm like, but people are like, oh, that's sick.
That shit is trash, man.
It's not. It's why are we gassing this stuff?
You know what it is? People are trying to be nice to people. And I won't say the names, but we had a artist we had a meeting with this week, and another name was brought up, and this person was like, yeah, I mean, they got some bars. And I'm like, yo, stop lying, bro. Like, stop lying. Like, we need pure, unadulterated honesty. You feel me? Because that's the only way people are going to get better. I can say myself, like, there have been times where I've sort of like phoned it in on a record, to be completely honest with you.
We all got that.
I don't need people telling me, oh, well, so fire, bro. Because in all honesty, like, you as an artist, when something is like high quality of a higher caliber, and when it's just like, when it's mid. You feel me? So it's like, we don't need people calling mid fire, And it's funny that it's funny that we distill everything in art down to like 3 terms. It's either trash, mid, or fire.
Yeah.
There's no nuance anymore. And I think that's why we need legitimate honesty, because with honesty comes nuance, where you're like, okay, well, I like the vocal inflections you had, but maybe you need to sharpen up the pen. Or maybe I like the punchlines you had, but I don't like the way you said certain things, you know? And it's like, obviously nobody needs to listen to anybody else's opinion, but sometimes you got to take different perspectives with a grain of salt, because it allows you to be like, all right, boom, if this is the overwhelming perspective on what I'm presenting to this audience, maybe I need to take stock of what I'm doing and make some adjustments, or like, you know, hone my skill sets, or whatever the case is, you know? So
Yeah, but
It's important.
I do that. There's been about four or five artists that have said to me, RJ, I want to do a street heat. That's done the street. I'm not gonna say who that's done it, but I've said to them,
Allegedly.
do your verse again. Why? No. If you're gonna come on a platform, and this is the first time people are seeing you,
that's to be of a certain caliber.
I want to be honest and want them to see something of high, like, you know, like you just said, high caliber. I'm not saying what you've done is trash. It's just, it's okay.
Yeah. Something
okay.
can just be okay. That
It's
doesn't
okay.
mean I'm telling you you're terrible.
Yeah, and then on top of that as well, some people have said, I just want to put this out. And I'm like, no, if you want to, absolutely, that's you. I'm just, from my advice, just, you know, just switch things around or whatever. And some have turned out very well, and some are not. Like with the street heats that we've been doing, who are the top 3 street heats that you've seen so far?
Lately?
Yeah.
Half Cut definitely up there.
Half Cut is nuts, bro. He's insane.
Who else have you had lately?
So we had Jabba, then we had
Jabba.
San.
Jabba is up there.
Jabba's
no
cool.
question.
Yeah,
No
he's
question.
dope.
We had
He's dope.
Jabba, San, K-Quan, Manny, Half Cut, Craze,
Craze was good.
Craze was
and
tough.
Will.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
keeping it
crazy.
being, the ones that really stood out to me in terms of the solo efforts were Half Cut, Jabba, and Craze.
Yeah, those are my 3 too.
Yeah.
But Half Cut made me want to like never touch a pen again.
Nah.
That guy's
Yeah.
fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Shout out
he's
Half
built
Cut.
different, man.
I don't
Do you
know
know
which
why?
camera to look at.
It's because you believe him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a
every
fact,
time.
man.
Does that make sense?
Every time.
He's got charisma, but you believe what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Too many of these artists, this is, me and Prophet had this conversation where we were saying there's a lot of people that's come from like New Brighton and Mackenzie Town, but they look hard and tough in their videos when you don't need to be
so
tough.
embarrassing,
Yeah.
bro.
Sometimes,
So embarrassing.
no, and it's, people take offense to that. But in reality, what I'm saying is, have fun. Just have fun in your videos.
That's a fact.
You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to look goofy. You're allowed to dance. You're
Smile,
allowed
do
to.
some
Yeah.
that's
You're
a
allowed
fact.
to. Not everything has to look. You don't have to have the bitches and the money and the Ferraris. You're not driving Ferraris unless it's summertime going up and down 17th.
Nah.
And that's,
Yeah.
and it's only like, the thing is too is it's only cool when you can tell that the person is enjoying, like genuinely, like they're not just using all that shit as props.
Right.
Like you can tell when an artist, like even if they're using those things,
Yeah.
but you can tell by the look on their face when they're in front of these things, when they're around it, like that is really just what they're passionate about. You know what I mean? Like I had a homie when I first started making music, but I was in the Middle East at the time.
Yeah.
And you know, in the Middle East, like a lot of things are materialistic out there. But for him, like a fast car, nice house, and a view, that's all he gave a shit about. And he was making music, and that's all he wanted to rap about. And I told him, like, are you going to change it up? He's like, no, this is what makes me happy, man. Like, he wasn't doing it to look cool in front of other people. It's just like, this is what he enjoys. And, like, it really meant a lot to him to be able to, like, just paint it with words. You know what I mean? Like, to try to put you there. You know, to try and put you in that position. But a lot of people use it as more of like I was saying earlier, a prop.
That's
like
a
it's
fact.
just like to hit a checkbox.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like okay, rappers have
what do I need
this.
to do to look like a rapper?
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like it's
that's a fact.
cosplay. It's cosplay.
But
It
you know what it
is.
is? I show Prophet this guy. You know what? One of my favorite artists at the moment, even from back in the day, Scorcher.
Mm-hmm.
Scorcher's been top tier, but the thing is with him is, all right, we've recorded a song. Let's just go to a car park and just shoot a video now. We've got 2 cars. That's it. There's nothing more to it, but they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah,
The next video, we're going to go to a gas station. All right, everyone, let's just start dancing. Slow motion shots.
It's fun.
Yeah.
They're having a good time.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Yeah, not everything has to be so serious. And I think that's part of the issue is that I don't think a lot of artists here have really figured out who they are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like on a personal note or an artistic level. So they think, all right, boom, again, going back to what you said, what do I need to do to look like a rapper?
Cosplay.
You know? And don't get me wrong, presentation is key because, and we spoke on this before, sometimes you have guys on stage that don't present themselves well. And I think that goes back to a level of having, a certain degree of professionalism. But at the same time, everything doesn't need to be like the stereotypical chains and the motherfucking, Amiri denim and the motherfucking, you know, designer, this, that, and the third. You feel me? Like, yeah, you present yourself well, but at the same time, be you. Figure out who you are, how you want to express yourself in your creative endeavors to whatever audience you're trying to attract. It doesn't always have to be about like the stereotypical image that we're always presented. You feel me? So
You can get flash shit at a thrift store, man.
that's a
Like
fact.
I've
man.
seen some artists like my homie Stevie, my mentor Stevie Ross, my big brother. He taught me because I always used to be about like simplicity. Like I just used to wear a black hoodie and some joggers. You remember when joggers were a thing?
Mhm.
I was wearing joggers and some J's, and that was it. That was it. I was like super simple, and like I was only doing that because I didn't know who I was yet and shit. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have, like I was just trying to not look like a jackass. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to be the cosplaying artist. I was like, but I don't have an identity yet. I don't know how to dress yet. So like I'm just gonna wear what I normally wear like every day. And then Stevie like totally flipped the switch for me when he was like, bro, you don't gotta like buy expensive shit and like dress up like, you know what I mean? Like peacocking, you know what I mean? Like you can go to a thrift store, grab a bunch of shit and put like a dope fit together of just like vintage tees or like different jackets. Like you can do simple shit. Like he's like, just wear like a different hat like every night. Like don't wear the same fucking hat. I used to have a Jordan hat that he's like, he's gonna laugh when he hears this, but he's like, if I see that hat on your head again, I'm lighting it on fire. You know what I mean? That's the thing too. Is like sometimes you need to be able to take those things, and like he taught me that. Like he used to like if I recorded a trash song in front of him, that shit's not making it to streaming, bro. He's being like, bro, this is ass, and I'm gonna tell you it's ass until you like either do something about it or like your next effort's better.
But you see, that honesty, that legitimate and authentic honesty is what got you to the level you are as an artist. Because it's like, if others hold you to a certain standard, you're going to start to have to hold yourself to a certain standard as well.
Like shit, even my mom, bro. Like when I first started out, she used to tell me when something sucked ass. Like she used to tell me like when I was first starting out, when I was like 12, 13, 15, 16, those years, like the really developmental, I'm talking like even as a human being. Like I used to bring a song home like after recording it at a friend's house, and she's like, this is trash. and then I come back like 2 weeks later, and my whole effort for like those developing years was just to make my mom smile. Like simple shit like that. Like just to make her like enjoy it. And the thing is with my mom is she was like just super, super honest. And like when she heard a song from me that she loved, she would just turn it all the way up and be like, she'd say it in Arabic, but she would, gas it up and tell me how amazing it is. And like, you know what I mean? And that simple thing of just trying to like make my mom happy growing up, like as an artist, that was the simple thing that kept me writing every single day and like constantly thinking about music is like having just that one person to be honest with you. And then like when I became an adult, Stevie came into my life as like this big brother figure who would like be super brutally honest with me. But then when like I gave him some crazy shit, he'd be like, this is fucking crazy. And he would play it like if we were out on a car ride, just like having a smoke or something, and he would just replay the song over and over again, or like turn it all the way up.
Just keep running it back.
Everyone in every situation, you just need something like that to help, bro. Because when we was coming up as well, we had grime, and in grime, the biggest thing for you was to get a reload. So I remember going to these sets, and I want you to picture this, yeah. Now picture where the light is, yeah. This is just the box room. You have the mixer there, and you have one microphone and the whole room is filled with men. Somehow you need to make your way to the microphone and be brave enough to move people because you want that microphone. Yeah. When you're on the mic, you need to get people hyped enough to get the reload. Mm-hmm. Bro, the amount of times you're there spitting on the mic and people are just like,
just
straight facing you.
And you're like, fuck, I'm fucking up. It's fucking up.
Bro, that's worse than getting booed, bro. When people are just straight faced, that's way worse.
But then when you get the one reload now and everyone's like, yeah, is that you? I'm like,
best feeling in the world, bro.
I'm gonna go write something now because I need something for next week. You understand what I mean? But it's just it's that sort of encouragement is needed. But again, we live in a sensitive generation, so you can't really
fuck all that, bro.
You can't.
Enough of this. We live in a sensitive generation.
You got to. You got to.
Enough of this, bro. Because it's like we keep trying to make excuses for people that are soft. We keep trying to make excuses for people that are fucking weird. And don't get me wrong, all artists are weirdos, bro. I'm a weirdo.
Dude, we're all weird. But it's like part of who we are.
But dog, like, stop making excuses for people, bro. Like, this is the thing. I know people that say like, oh, that's not me. I'm not gonna do that because that's not me. And it's like something that's a key development of your character. It's like, well, you don't want to evolve as a human being. You don't want to be just a little different from how you were yesterday. Like, I think we need to stop making excuses for people and say, oh, people are sensitive. No, I don't give a fuck, bro, to be completely honest with you, dog. Because it's like, the less honest we are with people, the worse shit is going to get across the globe.